Can you give me a call? 533-5174. 533-5174. 10-4. No, sorry.
Medic 72, 10-4.
812916.
11. FD wants to know, did he have a seatbelt on when you showed up, or did you undo it?
No, he wasn't in a seatbelt.
Copy. I can take the alarm, but I'm way off.
201 sending 171. It was a box truck.
170 Delta 180 for disturbance. Prescott at Morgan. Prescott at Morgan. Contact Natalie. It was a moving disturbance, but she was able to get out of the vehicle with her child. I have no description on her other than she's holding her baby.
Delta 180 support.
She's in a blue jean, long sleeve shirt, and black leggings.
Medic 1B out of service, 10-4.
Is it going to be OCL?
We're at Northwest and County Road 33, right in the intersection. They've gone off to the ditch. I'm checking for injuries.
How far?
10-4.
A stolen vehicle and a stolen trailer taken from the same location. It's going to be a 2012 Chevy Silverado pickup, white in color. John William George, 6568, taken from 7102 Teos Drive. Vehicle has a dent on the left side of the truck in the bed. A sticker that reads Fleet Trucks on the back. And copy for the trailer. It's going to be a 2017 C&M utility trailer, black in color. 6633966 John. Taken also, it was attached to the vehicle, 7102 Teos. Authority Charlie 170, today's date, Patrol 3, 154.
Can you go to dispatch and direct them to go to EMS 1? Go ahead, Captain. Yeah, I don't know what your ETA is, but she's a level 2 right now. She's got some seizure activity, but she has a history of it. We're getting off right now on Saratoga. About 2 minutes.
Marshal 5. Marshal 5.
Show me en route to
Italian 1. Italian 3, we only have one medic left. It's going to be medic 15. Medic 15, did you copy? One. Go to 1 to shoreline 0.1, 10-4.
1940, I'm clear from building 5 and I'll be around to me.
Stand for him.
Montana, 5 Charles 1192, Frankfurt Charles 1192, to a 1999 Dodge Ram 2500 pickup, recovered at 400 block of Bridgeport Avenue, authority ID 8405, down 56. Medic 2, show us on scene. Medic 2, 10-4.
Okay, I'm unable to hear you. You have a lot of static. You might need to talk over it.
DRI, block middle 2902.
7-1 transit, can you get the gate for me, please?
Are you advising a student left campus?
Reggie, what drop off do I have?
Wait, 250, can you spell that last name for me?
Tell me where, what her drop off is.
Yeah, standpoint. 1, Point Area 59. 301 base.
10-4, stand by.
10-4. We're in the 10-4. 2-1 to base.
I thought she asked.
Yeah, she asked if there was a unit in the area. I was negative, and then I don't know what she said after that.
Stand by. Threatening to leave campus is what I got.
Okay, well, I guess 69, if you want to head that way, just in case they do leave campus.
Sure.
10-4, thank you.
801, passing 1,000, on the June 2.
I can focus, but you have a whole lot of backup and noise.
Notice of 1400. Okay, just give me the ETA. He's just on the phone.
1,002, full stop, NGC's in Arizona.
I'm here dropping off on Holly.
I have 69 in out to your location, Jeremiah Castillo. That's about all I copied.
Yeah, since she was out with him. That's it. I'll be there in a little bit.
4910, 4930.
334.
Can you show me signal for 2746 South Staples, first catch point?
Low. Or correction, area 6 low.
Before Ayers, there's going to be an 18-wheeler exiting a parking lot. They got the front end of the truck got stuck. It's blocking the access road. It's going to be westbound.
10-4. I'll check. It's on SPID westbound.
10-4 on the access road.
I got, well, I'll tell you when I get there.
10-4. 40 after stuck in the mud. First it looked like a 20 feet, but no.
I drove by, I saw him there. I thought he was still backing up. I guess
They were rerouting traffic. Hopefully they get a move.
1-10-4, out at Corona.
Okay, 10-4. I'm not too far. 30 right.
Try to go 5 high. Charlie 110, 10-4.
Car 130 in the area.
Charlie 130, 10-4.
I have a suspicion that he was, but
151.
maybe the witness
10-7 on campus.
couldn't tell who was driving it.
10-4.
He said that they towed it to the Padre Motel.
10-4, I'm at the light in Brownlee.
Yeah, no, she gets into a blue car right in the parking lot of the restaurant.
Okay. Where do you want?
Yeah.
In the neighborhood, you don't see reports of an elderly man that's getting pushed around by 3 Vaquero students on the Weber side of the school. When we went out there, we didn't find anything, but...
The VIN is going to be 6760, registered to a Patricia Salas out of 2535 Viola Avenue.
Pick 1.5, 10-4.
On the Weber side?
This RP.
Nightly, have we ever handled it?
Cross reference already as well. The case number was 50-0050 on today's date.
10-4, man. 10-4. This way.
10-4, man. I've got one more. Frank David Victor, Victor Henry King.
That was Frank David Victor, Victor Henry King.
Yes, ma'am. Correction, that was 4 David Victor, Victor Henry King. I'm sorry.
4 David Victor, Victor Henry King. Stand by. 4 David Victor, Victor Henry King, expires May 2018. It's going to be a disabled veteran plate, 2015 Toyota Camry, black in color. Negative 29, last 44195, registered to a Johnny Lopez out of 2125 Karen Drive.
Enforcement 1 is at mile marker 252.
Go ahead. Hey, Chris, what you got?
I rolled up on a major accident out here to 18 and stuff. GPS is out here. I'm sure traffic control.
Oh, okay, Tempo. I couldn't hear the radio. I thought you were impounding something. You had something. All right, Tempo. Thank you.
Georgia tag, Paul Boy, Adam, 7100. Medic 41. Medic 41, go ahead.
For Barbara McDonald.
Medic 41, we have a call on County Road 73.
I didn't have her on my route.
I'm 624. It's in Annabelle. We have Medic 72 and Engine 72 and Annabelle 701 on scene. They're requesting another medic.
10-2, let me know.
10-4. 7 north. I'm in the construction zone, so I'm going to upriver. John Henry X-ray 0659.
Waiting for a unit. Is our unit coming from him? Who is it?
Ladder 7.
Jeff Burkholder. He said he's been waiting over an hour and a half. 130.
Client received a call from the suspect. They broke into the location. We're going to cause some destruction. Suspect was a Tomas, unknown last name. Possibly UID. No, the
Nora,
description.
Sam, Tom.
Where?
I'll be in service 602 North Staples until 6 p.m.
10-4. Can you give me the exact address where that unit is at? 5301 Highway 286.
If you come do the turnaround eastbound on Greenwood and just stay on the extra road.
Found it.
6 and 7.
Okay.
5894 MR. Austin. We got 1702 Sherman.
Hotel Tango, lower. Hotel Tango.
I'm not getting a return, and I'm not getting anything matching that name or date of birth and ID.
I'll already log you, and he's going for him right now.
Yeah, could you get me on the individual? Last name Reynolds. First name is Zarias. Student ID number is 35-2000.
ID 3011 by name campus at 1210.
Took off.
Airport, I'll document it. 179.
I need another unit, please. Students began kicking chairs and stuff.
Okay.
29 operator.
665 control 30643.
665-306.
National security. These journalists didn't get fooled by anybody or anything. They volunteered. This is key. They volunteered their reputations to perpetrate a hoax on the American public. I'm so happy to see somebody else use the word hoax to describe this. He goes on to say that the media, gigantic media figures, New York Times, Washington Post, colluded with Steele, colluded with Hillary. They conspired.
Are you still in the office?
They created this false narrative. They created the hoax. The media joined at the hip with Hillary and Steele and the DOJ, the FBI, the intelligence community. That's why after a year of thousands of furious allegations, all of which concerning Trump are unsubstantiated, the press will not report the real scandal in which it plays a leading role. When the reckoning comes, Russiagate is likely to be seen not as a symptom of the collapse of the American press, but as one of the causes for it. Now that's a conclusion. What comes before is example, excerpts, documentation of the press, and he names the name, who actually conspired to push a hoax, a story that they knew was not true, all for the express purpose of getting Donald Trump. And that's why they can't report on this. They can't report on how it's blowing up because they...
Also be advised, Shoreline, this patient recently had his dialysis
Another excerpt, or part of a political campaign directed at Trump. It was a disinformation operation pointed at the American public. This is the real point. The hoax, this is the real point. The hoax has been on the American public. Russiagate was no longer part of a political campaign directed at Trump. It was a pointed at the American public as the pre-election media attention resonated more fully with the dossier now in the open. You see, said the press, everything we published about Trump and Putin is really true. There's a document proving it. The dossier. What the press corps neglected to add is that they had been reporting talking points from the same opposition research since before the election, and they were now showcasing evidence to prove it was all true. They were cycling BS. The reason the media will not report on the scandal now unfolding before the country is because the press is not because the press is partisan, it's because the press has played an active role in the Trump-Russia collusion story since its inception. It helped give birth to it. Now you might say, Russia's the big deal. We all knew that. Okay, some of us might have suspected it. I mean, we know the media was, but they were this piece accuses actual collusion,
Staples and Williams.
not a bunch of
Here has a
like-minded
message
people on
to
the
put it on
sidelines who
bypass.
happened to simply report what the Clintons wanted to report because they were on the same wavelength. This was active, participatory, conspired to knowingly lie to the American people.
Now picking up at Elizabeth.
Before the election and
I don't have
after.
a Ranger, so
Now, the second story is also related to this. And to me, it's also a blockbuster, and it's by Andy McCarthy. Now, you remember that we had news yesterday at Susan Rice, a couple of days ago now, that Susan Rice had written a memo to herself on the day Trump was inaugurated, recounting a meeting that Trump and that Obama and his law enforcement and legal advisors had. And the purpose of her email was to memorialize this meeting. It's the meeting in which she quotes Obama as telling all of his underlings, "We're going to do this, blah, blah, blah." The new theory is, you remember how Trump was, why did he fire Comey? Trump fired Comey in large part, because Comey would not tell the public what Comey had told Trump. Comey had told Trump that he was not a suspect, that he was not a target. Mr. McCarthy believes that Comey was lying to Trump. That when he told Trump that he wasn't a target, what he was saying was, your name is not on the FISA warrant. What in truth was happening, Trump was the target all along. Trump was the suspect all along. And that's why Comey would not publicly exonerate Trump, because he couldn't.
He left his phone number and wants
And at the meeting that was held between Obama and his hirelings
Are you ready to copy a number?
on January 5th was to plot a way to continue the investigation of Trump after Obama had left office. And they conspired to come up with a way to continue the investigation and it centered on making Trump believe he wasn't the target. In other words, if James Comey had gone to Trump and say, Mr. Trump, we have learned the dossier was written by Christopher Steele, who had been paid by Hillary Clinton, and that we can't verify any of it. And what we have learned is that it is actually a political opposition research document determined to destroy you. That Trump would have blown a gasket and fired everybody and told the American public what was going on. But that's not what Comey told Trump. What Comey told Trump was, you're not a target. He showed him the only one part of the dossier, the Golden Showers part. He didn't show him the whole thing. He alluded to it, but didn't show him. They showed him the Golden Showers, said, we haven't verified this as an example of how bad it is out there. You're not a suspect. But Comey was stretching the truth, because the only extent Trump was not a suspect, Trump's name was not on the FISA warrant. What Comey was telling Trump was, no, we haven't gotten a warrant to spy using your name. They had done that in the the trick that Comey and Obama played, that Susan Rice wrote a memo to memorialize as we do, was to continue the investigation of Trump while convincing him he wasn't the target so that he wouldn't stop. And they did that by telling him privately, you're not a suspect, you're not a target. But that was only to the extent that his name wasn't on the FISA warrant. The fact of the matter is, this whole thing has always been about no one else but Trump. It's never really been about Carter Page. It's never been about Manafort. All of it, from the get-go, was about nailing Trump, and it still is. And they needed a way to make Trump think. They needed a way to make sure Trump would not shut the investigation down. And the way they did that was to tell him he wasn't the target. And so when Trump realizes he's not the target, well then, okay, go do your job. Be easy. That's the Andy McCarthy piece today. And both of these pieces are dynamite blockbusters. And you'll forgive me for mentioning, but I'm not. I'm news happens fresh every day, and
Why are liberals so miserable and conservatives aren't? To start, liberals are wrong about everything, but there's something more. Basketball reveals the life's secret happiness potion in his latest bonus report, The Joy of Conservatism. Available now with a new subscription to the Limbaugh Letter. Sign up at rushlimbaugh.com and smile. You're listening to the EIB Network News, Weather, and More. At 1360 KPTX.com.
Are your medical bills piling up?
Yeah, this,
cancer or another serious illness? You are not alone. Many people face this challenge. Here's how Coventry Direct can help. You can receive an immediate cash payment by selling your life insurance policy. If you have $100,000 or more of life insurance, you may be eligible to sell your policy, even a term policy. To find out if you qualify, call Coventry Direct today at 1-800-458-2100. Speak to one of our policy specialists. That's 1-800-458-2100. The cash you receive from selling your policy can be used to help pay medical bills or whatever you choose to give you financial security and peace of mind.
Okay, all right, got it.
Coventry Direct.
Hey, just a blanket. If anybody's looking for me, don't forget that one. I got that one.
Visit us at CoventryDirect.com. Coventry Direct.
I'll let this guy know, but it was Bravo 1 or Delta 1.
Coventry Direct is a marketing company and will refer qualified policies to a licensed entity.
Charlie 170, Charlie 1.
Kelly. For more than 32 years, I've been...
With everything going on, I haven't gotten the DDAX yet. You want me to clear up and go do that for an hour?
Taxes low and increase public safety.
Well, you clear up, yeah. I mean, at least try it for an hour.
To be the victim of crime. I am running for judge in the 148th District Court because I want to bring integrity and trust to our judicial system. As your next judge, I will listen to both sides, and I will follow the law. This is Chuck Kelly, and I'm asking for your vote.
Yes, sir. A stolen vehicle, a trailer, and a riding lawnmower on the trailer, which apparently fell off at Heritage Baptist Church, but then was picked up. And we checked all along Yorktown, couldn't find it. So we never found the lawnmower.
You may be able to prevent diabetes.
So did they take the people in the trailer from this guy's house or from the church or what happened? It was in front of the house at 7102 Wales, where he stays when he's here on business in Corpus Christi. He used to live here, but he lives in San Antonio now.
But it can even help.
Okay, Wells is what, WELLS? Is that where 240's at? Doing another 20?
Free copy of your game.
Okay, I'm sorry, it's not Wales, it's Taos, T-A-O-S. And the Wales you're asking about, I believe, is W-A-L-E-S, but that's not related to the scope.
Program at 1-888-698-6337
I guess somehow they
or
got
visit
to the church.
TexasDiabetesCouncil.org.
And that's where they lost the lawnmower, they went back to God. Well, that appears to be the case.
Hey, everybody.
Any video, anything in that area?
Of us
The church or anything?
something that other people do. Certainly not someone I know. When you see someone
not at that particular church, but
give up the key. Always choose a
the victim advised that the neighbor at 7106 house has video of the truck leaving with the trailer, but the neighbor wasn't there at the time, so I couldn't contact him. I'm noting that in the narrative. All right, careful. Yeah, if you have time later on, if you just roll by there, see if you can talk to that person or any possible cameras in that area.
Let's get back to the phones. We go to Detroit. This is Tom. Great to have you, Tom. Glad you waited. I appreciate your patience. How are you?
Doing well, Russ. How about you?
Fine. Thanks much.
Good. I've got a concern about the sheriff.
Adam 130, Adam 1, you over?
As far as
y'all make contact with each other.
Lack of better term,
Tell him
combing
what
the
needs
web
to be done. He can take the unit to the
and
shop.
bringing in people because of comments they posted or
Adam
may have
130,
posted
Adam
about what they posted.
Thank you very much.
I think what eventually is going to happen is what happened with the FISA court. There's going to be an abuse there, and it's a serious abuse. I'd like your comment on that.
That's a good point. We now have
to move the cone
a dossier.
So the 19th was able to make that turn there, but I'm still going to go check it out.
And uncorroborated. It was used to secure a warrant to spy on Carter Page, and its primary purpose was to get Donald Trump. And the judge, the FISA court, may have been misled. We don't know. We don't know yet whether the judge was told it was paid for by Hillary Clinton or not. So your analogy here is, and by the way, this has made me wonder if this is a one-off or if this is the way this process is happening routinely, that The FISA court has become such a rubber stamp that you can take anything up to them and the judge will say, go ahead, here's your warrant. I mean, they can get a warrant on an uncorroborated, unverified piece of garbage like this thing. Then what other warrants have been granted may not have any real backup? So your point is that is just as dangerous as a sheriff in Florida being able to go pull a kid out of his house and put him in an institution simply because what the kid's written and posted on YouTube.
Or not even what he is, but what other people have written about him. Like the bullying. You get 3-4 kids that don't like Johnny. And so they pick on Johnny and they fabricate stories that gets them in trouble.
Well, we know that happens too. A lot of stuff's made up.
914 11th Street, Temple.
Speaking of which, I can attest to that personally.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Show me around to building 5.
It is crossing a bridge. And maybe tearing down the bridge afterwards. I know. I can, but see, I can understand the frustration. Many people are dumping on law enforcement.
Oh, sure.
I mean, the cops are being shot already.
Log off the NPS and log back on and let me know if that fixes it real quick.
May I make an observation? This is another thing.
I'll try that.
Since when
I did that about 15 times yesterday. It would fix it until it would work and for a short time and then do it again. I don't know what was going on, but I'll try it again.
You can't criticize.
7158.
You can't.
Yes, sir.
What have you people made?
We're going to log in and dump the file.
You've been criticizing the cops.
Okay, Tipple, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Black Lives Matter. You criticize the cops in Baltimore. You criticize the cops in Ferguson. You people on the Democrat side have made a career now out of trying to convince people the cops everywhere are corrupt. All it takes is Black Lives Matter to come along and claim that cops are innocently shooting innocent blacks, murdering them or putting them in prison or whatever. And there it's perfectly fine to criticize law.
Rob 35.
So these law enforcement guys, I can imagine what it's like to be them. How about this? How about you are living at home, you're a woman. You've got a stalker. You've got somebody that comes up to your window and stares every night, follows you around, never approaches you, never touches you. You call the cops. You're scared to death. You get a restraining order. That's as much as you can get. The stalker violates the restraining order, but it's tough to catch the guy in the act. The point is, law enforcement will tell that woman, I'm sorry, we can't do anything until he attacks. He hasn't broken the law yet. He hasn't committed a crime. But meanwhile, the woman is scared to death. Or it could be a guy being stalked by who knows who. And then the crime eventually happens, and the woman is either maimed, injured, or killed. And people call law enforcement, why didn't you do something? And they're doing it now. This shooter was apparently widely known. He had warned everybody he was going to do this. He threatened to do it. He put it on YouTube. Another YouTuber saw it, informed the FBI. Then this shooting event happened yesterday. And can you imagine the number of people talking to the sheriff or the cops down there? Why didn't you do something? Why didn't you do something? The cops are getting frustrated.
Henry 1318.
If you, to put it in human terms, if you're in law enforcement or anywhere and you have enough data that you trusted, that made you genuinely scared something like this could happen.
13, is the subject still on scene?
And you couldn't do anything to stop it. And then it happened. Can you imagine the frustration? And then when you've got members of the community calling you and yelling or plaintively asking, why didn't you stop the guy? We can't. So a part of me understands the frustration of the sheriff and law enforcement. But then you come along here, Tom, and your point is exactly right. With the availability of social media and the ability to lie, it is a dangerous situation. Which is why I revert back to one of my original points at the top of the program. There is a solution out there. But we're never going to get to it if we can't properly identify the problem, number one. And the official language of liberalism, political correctness, does not allow us to honestly address these things language-wise. without the experimentation, innovation in various states, local communities, we're never going to get there.
I am not that Bigfoot doesn't exist. Skeptic in all of us, he seems to always hide or just walk slowly behind campgrounds, never really doing anything but throwing that glance quickly to a camera.
That's the Glenn Beck program.
I don't want to go on the record and say there's absolutely no
electrical
way
pole RT at the Mary Craig Special Education School at 4402.
As if in the end
Casted on.
I go
Cross is going to be electrical pole RT at 44002. Casted on at the Mary Craig Special Education School. Cross is going to be engine 10, engine 10, pole sparking, pole to pole. There's power in the area. Work off fire dispatch at 1231.
17. The president saying the entire nation is in grief.
No child, no teacher should ever be in danger in an American school.
Also mentioning the need to tackle mental health issues, Democratic lawmakers putting out calls for expanded gun background checks. The leader of a white nationalist militia claiming that one member of his group was shooting suspect Nicholas Cruz.
He stands accused of 17 counts of premeditated murder. The investigation continues in the house where Cruz lived for the past 3 months.
Fox's Steve Harrigan, and the White House threatening a veto of a bipartisan Senate compromise on immigration that would help so-called dreamers. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Do you have property damage to your home, auto, or business from Harvey? Enroll in the Harvey Federal Tax Refund Program now and get cash for flood recovery. Tax expert Pat O'Connor says if your property flooded and you paid income taxes in 2016, you almost certainly qualify for the Harvey Tax Refund. Don't wait. Call now, 833-AID-4-HARVEY. That's 833-AID-4-HARVEY. Or online at aid4harvey.com. That's aid-4harvey.com.
A look back at this week in history. This week in 1915, ASCAP, the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers. Among the founding members of ASCAP were the musical giants of the time: Irving Berlin, James Weldon Johnson, Jerome Kern, and John Philip Sousa. In those days, songwriters made their living primarily from fees earned through the sales of sheet music. If music did not pay, it would be given up, wrote Chief Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes in a landmark Supreme Court decision in 1917. This week in Chicago in 1929, 4 men dressed as police officers entered the headquarters of George Bugs Moran and killed 7 of his henchmen. The 4 men actually worked for the rival crime boss, Al Capone, and the act is now known as the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Also this week in 1929, Sir Alexander Fleming discovers one of the greatest modern medicine developments by accident. Fleming was a young bacteriologist. Having left a plate of Staphylococcus bacteria uncovered, Fleming noticed that a mold that had fallen on the culture had killed many of the bacteria. He identified the mold as Penicillium notatum, similar to the kind found on bread. On February 14, 1929, Fleming introduced his mold byproduct called penicillin to cure bacterial infections. And this week in 1965, Canada officially changes its flag to the maple leaf. It had been flying Britain's Union Jack flag since 1610. Today, Canada's red maple leaf flag is one of the most recognizable flags in the world.
That's your look back at
call that 4218 Snowbird Crossing is going to be Lake Tahoe. Call that 4218 Snowbird Crossing is going to be Lake Tahoe. Medic 6, 53-year-old male, conscious and breathing, feeling lightheaded, dizzy and nauseated. Work off fire dispatch at 1235.
Talk radio? It's one addiction you won't try to kick. News Radio 1360 KKTX. Now, News Radio 1360 KKTX brings you The Rush Limbaugh Show.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to intersperse the news that I would have done with the program with the coverage of the Florida shooting, meaning with your phone calls on it. So if you're on hold, just be patient. We're going to get to you probably pretty quickly. The story on this Kehindre Wiley outsourcing his work to the Tri-Coms, specifically as it relates to the Obama portrait, it's in New York Magazine.
Actually, it's...
And page 6 has picked up the version of it.
Power.
But this is not in conservative media. New York Magazine reported 6 years ago that relied on outsourced labor.
No intrusion in the passenger space. All the equipment was on the passenger side. Self-exterior prior to arrival. No complaints other than a little bit of it.
You are a commissioned artist.
Our button is approximately 30 minutes prior to transport. Car vitals. EV is 121 on 86. Heart rate is 78. 97 on room air. NGT is established to the left. Pressure at 20 gauge. To the left AC.
Charge the
blood sugar is 101. No history, meds, or allergies.
Anyway, the report said that Wiley informed him working 4 to 10 workers, depending on the urgency, plus a
unknown on the 18-wheeler is probably about 45 to 50. Moving the left-hand turn is probably about 10 miles per hour. I can explain further when we get there.
For him, and to a substantial degree, and Wiley doesn't deny it. He says, I never have told everybody every stroke is mine. Is a paraphrase pretty close to what he said.
Megan, so you can't turn left right now, but they're going to be done in a couple of minutes. I'm going to stay by and monitor. I'll let you know when it's clear. I'm going to track any inbound 19s that need to make that left, and I'll redirect them.
This stinks.
Did you want me to make a announcement on the ops channel for them?
Painting, fingerprint identity, and so forth.
That's a negative.
But you're telling me that you got 4 to 10 schlubs in there? And the strokes they paint are not identified. There's no way they can claim, yeah, I painted that flower. I painted that sperm cell in the Obama flower. I did it.
1345.
I can't either. I can't. Folks, if I were getting this done, there's nobody would do my stroke. I would own every one of them. I can't imagine. I'm trying to think. How do a portion of this program? So I guess it's taking calls out there, but it's not the same thing. I'm not passing the calls off as actually doing. So, where's the outrage?
7-29 expiring on December 28th.
Obama didn't do his due diligence.
2015 Fiat Black in color. Pressure to Rodolfo Cruz or Adrian De Leon. 1014 address of the city.
Here is, by the way, a couple of sound bites from CNN earlier today with Jake Tapper. He talked to the vlogger on YouTube, Ben Bennett,
180 for Mandow, 3929 air,
about a
3929 air.
Appearing to be from a Nicholas Cruz that was left on one of the videos he posted last year. Tapper says, what did you do when you saw the comment on the video that you posted?
When I saw the comment come through my push notifications in YouTube Studio, it caught my attention, so I screenshotted it, shared it with the FBI, then I reported it to YouTube as spam, and of course when you do that, they take the comment down, and then I contacted the FBI. They responded pretty immediately. I had a field agent contact me and meet me at my office the very next morning. He took down the information.
So this is the guy that told the FBI about Nicholas Cruz's comment. Who, by the way, Nicholas Cruz yesterday was a Latino kid living in Florida. Today he's a white Hispanic. Let me drive by me. I kid you not. The white in the drive-by media. I'm not kidding.
4101 Brett.
Yesterday he was Latino. After the shooting, he's become a white guy. So Tapper then says, Ben, what's your response to the FBI today talking about how they were not able to identify the person who posted that comment that you told them about?
Well, I think in today's online world, it is very difficult to narrow down who does what without more information, and unfortunately I wasn't able to provide them with much.
Well, you gave them the user's name, right, which is the same exact name as the shooter.
I did, and I don't know what the process is to go through these companies to get specific user information.
So he gave them the actual name of the guy who posted the comment that promised the threat to do this, Nicholas Cruz, white, and the FBI didn't do anything with it. So the night here, the guy you heard in the audio said, well, I don't know what the FBI has to do with checking real identities. They first had to call YouTube, and YouTube would have to divulge the privacy of whoever sent the alert and all of this. But they still had the real name to go on. But folks, we need to back off the FBI just a little bit. The FBI is really busy right now. They're busy, I'm sure, tracking the entire Trump administration, looking for additional sexual harassment. I mean, there may be as many 4,000 of them in there they got to track down. And then they're still trying to corroborate the Steele dossier. And that's a worldwide effort. So the FBI has spread its resources here very, very thin. And we've got to keep that in. Here's Adam in Albany. Great to have you on the EIB network. Hello.
Hi, Roger. Thanks for taking my call. I'm actually in Utica, New York, believe it or not.
Utica? What's great. Well, you're in New York, and as long as you're there, it doesn't really matter where you're actually here with us, and that's what counts.
I am in the present. I got a lot of points to touch on. I don't have a lot of time with you, I know.
Have at it.
I kind of have a unique perspective as far as a solution, but the first thing I want to tell you is when I was in 10th grade in high school, we had a bunch of kids that wore all black and chanted the word melt.
It shows unconfirmed, none within the last 45 days.
Which was melting stuff. They got picked up by the newspapers and the media. School was not shut down.
Orange and Weber, Engine 7, Medic 11, Engine 7, Medic 11. There's a pedestrian involved. Female ran in front of the RTA vehicle, unconscious and breathing, bleeding from the mouth. Both units work on EMS 1 at 1242.
I've been seeing these things now for the last 15 to 20 years. Continuing to happen. All the liberals want to go on the offensive. We got to ban guns. We got to get rid of guns. Time for banning guns is bye-bye. Guns are out there. The next shooting is going to happen again, and that person that's going to do it already owns the firearms they're going to use. My suggestion and solution to this is not go on the offensive, go on the defensive. Defensive wins championships. Tom Brady, the best offensive weapon in football history, 500-yard passing, 2 touchdowns, he lost. Because okay, we have to assume these shootings are going to continue to happen, and we have to protect the students and the schools. I suggest bulletproof doors, shut down and lock in all the classrooms. I suggest arming 10 to 15% of the school teachers, with training courses and the firearms to be owned by the school. Armed guards, metal detectors, cameras. I mean, we do fire alarms at the school. When's the last time you heard of a 4-alarm fire in high school? We don't have that. I believe the insurance companies make the schools do these fire drills. Let's do shooting drills. I think the defense is the way to go.
But wait a minute. Let me stop you on that, because it reminds me of something that I want to respond to something you said earlier, too, but about shooting drills. I watched a guy
and a vehicle and pedestrian with about 70 to 80-year-old female. EMS is en route at 1940 and 2940
it is today. Look at what we're having to prepare our children for. Guns and shooters, and we're having to prepare them. And this guy said, yeah, it's horrible. We've never had people grow up like this. This is terrible to them. I'm thinking, yes, we have. I grew up being told how to hide under a desk at the Soviets launched a nuclear missile at us. We have had a whole generation of people grow up in school worried, scared to death that the nuclear bomb was going to hit. The idea that kids have never grown up with fear is absurd. Things that are happening today are not unique. It's not that something today is happening is unprecedented. There's always been fear. It's always part of life. It's not a nuclear bomb hitting. It's fire. You think these kids aren't scared to death of global warming? I got another thing for you. They literally think the Earth is going to be uninhabitable in another 20 to 40, 50 years. They really have been made to believe it. They're scared to death about all kinds of things. But your point about going on defense, I love your point that the next school shooting, a mass shooting, the gun that's going to be used is already in the hands of the perp. That is a pretty astute observation. I was watching CNN moments ago, and Anderson Cooper, you know it's serious when Cooper doesn't put on a shirt. When he's wearing a T-shirt and the jeans, you know it's emergency. He didn't have time to really deck out as a TV performer, as a TV host. And the graphic, Trump did not mention guns in his comments to nation. I said, so what? What is that? What the hell does that matter? Trump didn't mention guns. But so the focus is totally on the guns. And you're right, even if we outlaw forward, it's not going to stop anything. The time to have done it was years ago, and it was never going to happen. But it's not the problem, that's right. So you think we can prepare these schools in a defensive way, like the ideas you had with bulletproof glass, and we have armed guards, armed teachers, this kind of thing.
Armed teachers. When's the last time you heard of a man in a police station?
What if the teachers...
No one's going into a school full of teachers at all.
Right? There's no time in absolutely correct. People don't hold up the phone.
That's the one you have.
5857. I don't have 361. Teachers, I can't imagine. 5857. Some of them probably wouldn't. A lot of teachers probably wouldn't want the responsibility of doing it.
You don't have it. Go to Ethel Armory. It's at 1245. You don't have it.
And died in Sandy Hook, a teacher shield student. And I'm saying properly train them. Have instructors train these teachers, prepare them. They can steal the weapon when they're working, and then they return it.
The left is never going to go for this. And the reason they won't go for it is because adopting your idea of defensive preventative measures has, as part of its
westbound light on
acceptance and conclusion, that we're not getting rid of the gun. And that's all they want to talk about. So if we're going to come up with ways to stop this or limit the damage by having armed guards, bulletproof glass, armed teachers, whatever other provisions, the left is, you can't do that because you're acknowledging the guns are not going to be changed. Guns are going to still be used. Yep, that's right. They're never going to go for it.
Well, how many deaths a year are by guns? A little over 30,000? Did the listeners know that of those 30,000, over 20,000 are suicide? I mean, you're talking less than 10,000 deaths a year. Who kills more people?
I know.
I mean, you watch the news network.
Adam, I tell them every year, if you really want to save lives, ban the wheel. The wheel kills...
Or doctors in the ER.
Well, I don't...
You know, they say infection kills 400,000 people a year in the ER.
Yeah, that's an odd thing. But I mean, the wheel, which is used predominantly on the automobile, kills more people every year than guns.
In my office, I'm going to be taking Yes, he's on Route 46.
Never talk about banning cars. Only internal combustion engine cars. Anyway, Adam, it was quite interesting. I'm glad you called. I have to take a quick time out now.
The most powerful name in talk radio. Show manager TFI on News Radio 1360 KKTX. Do you have diabetes? Millions of Americans do. And what they don't know is that even if you have diabetes, you can get up to $500,000 of quality life insurance from top-rated companies with no medical exam at great rates. That's right, no medical exam. Call now, 1-800-254-9567. Or visit us online at fastlife.life. It's Fast Life, the revolutionary new way to buy life insurance. It's quick, easy, and fast. And there's no medical exam. Call Fast Life today, 1-800-254-9567. Or visit us online at fastlife.life. No matter what your health or wealth, protecting the people you love is important. And for millions of people with diabetes, it's the #1 reason for purchasing life insurance. Call now, 1-800-254-9567. Or visit fastlife.life for your free, no-obligation quote. Call Fast Life, 1-800-254-9567. Or visit us online at fastlife.life.
When Dr. Lane Sebring appeared on TV and claimed that he could give seniors a second shot at youth, viewers were highly skeptical, but then they saw the proof. Despite being 61 years old, Dr. Sebring is still competing in martial arts competitions against guys half his age and winning. But what's even more remarkable are his lab tests that back it all up. His blood pressure checks in at a healthy 110/70. His blood sugar never jumps above 70. So what's his secret? Sebring's been using a powerful green drink that he personally created called Patriot Power Greens. Patriot Power Greens was originally created to help other guys in the military who are dealing with achy joints and stiff muscles. And for a limited time, Dr. Sebring's letting you try the drink absolutely free. All he asks is that you chip in a few bucks to help cover shipping. To claim your free samples of Patriot Power Greens, go to greens123.com. Greens123.com. Greens123.com.
shoreline 0.1.
Duratec is Corpus Christi's fastest-growing home foundation correction company, and it's quick, clean, and affordable, correcting home interior foundation issues in just one day. It's extremely efficient and non-intrusive, eliminating old-style processes requiring jackhammering or costly tunneling. If your home settlement has caused you to have cracked walls, ceilings, uneven floors, and doors that won't close, give Duratec a call today. 885-7901. 885-7901.
Alone, our reach is limited. No matter how great our intentions, on our own, we can only stretch so far. But at Rotary, we believe the right group of people working together can make our communities, our world, a better place. Rotary, humanity in motion.
Back 71 to 4. Battalion 3, Medic 11, Medic 2. I'll show you switching to Group 8.
10-4.
Grab audio soundbite number 3. Need to get this to the mix. This was late yesterday afternoon on the CBS4 Eyeball News Miami. An unidentified student speaking to an unidentified infobay about the Florida shooting suspect Nicholas Cruz.
That's right, you can leave us here.
So you'll hear the recording of this about too.
When he got kicked out, then he was
Engine 7's crew went away.
I'm not sure. Honestly, a lot of people were saying that it was going to be him, stuff like that. We actually, a lot of kids do jokes around like that, saying that he was going to be the one to screw up the school, but it turns out, you know, everyone predicted it. That's crazy.
Any Marshal Patrol?
Everyone predicted it. We actually, a lot of kids threw jokes around like that, saying he was going to be the one to shoot up the school. But it turns out, you know, everyone predicted it. See, this just adds to the frustration in the aftermath. What do you mean everybody predicted it? Everybody knew it. What does that mean?
Maintain 4,000.
Well, it depends.
Wait for your call to come inbound.
Everybody knew about it, but nobody stopped it. You know what I expect? We have security experts all over the place. And I would wager that even though we haven't seen it, I'll bet you there have been countless proposals, ideas to secure schools in circumstances like this, and they obviously have been rejected. Nothing ever changes.
Vehicle said that they did not lift the patient up, but that she did push him to the side. On the arrival of the fracture, the patient was unconscious or unresponsive. She does have a pulse. Current vital signs are blood pressure 222 over 76, a heart rate of 42. Pads are showing Spanish rhythm at this time.
This could be in America's Rock.
We do have patient fully mobilized. Patient does have CSF going off of both ears at this time. She's also throwing up. Projectile vomiting. We are venting her. We are going to attempt intubation. We are attempting that at this time. Facility, 5 minutes.
The fact is, we aren't getting our dollars worth out of it. We're mandatory. Kids are mandatorily sent to these schools. That in and of itself is wrong. It shouldn't be that way, especially considering the fact that in the United States there are several Supreme Court cases where the police are not liable for a citizen's safety. The police have no liability to protect you. You cannot sue the police in a hostage situation for failing to protect you.
Yeah, I know. That's the rub here.
And the thing is, what's so jacked up about that is the left is trying to take away our sole means of protecting ourselves when in fact we are the only ones responsible for protecting ourselves. So that to me, it can't sit on its own face. So that is what it is. My proposal is this. I think we should decentralize public schooling. I think an option needs to be mandatory to every student that they can go online and have these classes online. They need to be able to get their diploma from the safety of their home, where their safety is guaranteed. We spend more than enough money per student to provide them with internet access via wireless satellite.
Alameda, Trauma Injury at 521 Meadowbrook. Crossing is going to be South Alameda.
defensive.
Medic 14,
Just
90-year-old male that fell. He's been on the ground for 12 to 14 hours. He's ready to go through the back door. Doors are locked. Medic 2, I'll show you clear.
Time for innovation.
Members of the media, do not panic. Your show prep will continue with Rush on the EIB network.
Lager in the morning, and your station for Fox News Radio, 1360 KUTX.
Mr. Churchill, the Germans have inserted Mrs. Duncan, the nation's top critics of hailing darkest hour. We must get our voice open. The Wall Street Journal writes darkest hour inspires and entertains.
One bond unites us all to rescue mankind.
It's a portrait of leadership at its most brilliant.
She was running across the street, and the lady, tips here to the west, but that's what a witness said, that the lady was running from the other side of the street.
Darkest hour, rated PG-13, may be inappropriate for children under 13. Now playing.
President Trump is
running from
Newsmax TV and bypass the big bad media. Get the truth about Trump with Mike Reagan, Alan Dershowitz, David Horowitz, Jesse Lee Brett Winterbill, and many more.
Yeah, the only damage we have to the car is just the mirror. The mirror's broken, and you can see, like,
DirecTV 349,
where the dirt's been brushed on the side of the car.
Ubers 1220, and FiOS 615. If your cable system doesn't carry it, call them. Tell them you want unbiased news. You want Newsmax TV.
Was she thrown, Carl, or just a good impact?
At Window World, we're here to help twist prevent homeowners. If you're in need of replacement windows, entry doors, or siding replacement, call Window World. We offer premium, lifetime warranty Energy Star windows at the guaranteed low price. We also install the most efficient insulated siding systems and our hurricane-tested and proven Brickstone sculptured masonry siding. Put it all together, and you have the full home, storm-ready, Energy Smart package backed by the industry's strongest warranties. Window World also is the first choice for TDI-approved hurricane impact windows for the ultimate protection with no need for shutters. And we install them for 20 to 50% less than the other guys. Plus right now, we're offering a hurricane relief discount on top of our already low price for anyone affected by Hurricane Harvey damage. Call Window World today at 361-336-2525 for a free in-home consultation.
I'm Beck Broom. I'm the father of 3 young kids. Not a day goes by that I don't look at them.
I have a legally parked vehicle on session and evidence that 9850
She chose life for my father through adoption. As your next congressman, I will stand up for our unborn children, work to defund Planned Parenthood, push adoption initiatives to help place children in loving and caring homes. I'm Beck Brune, and I approve this message because I know firsthand the value of protecting our unborn children.
Political ad paid for by the Beck Brune for Congress campaign.
iHeartRadio celebrates the contributions of African-American artists to every style of music, from funk to jazz, blues to hip-hop, and so much more. Hear music from the artists that inspired generations of musicians and continue to influence pop culture today. Aretha, Jay-Z, Michael, Marvin, Tupac, Diana Ross, and so many more. Listen to their special playlists or an iHeartRadio original station like Urban Pop Classics and Motown Sounds, providing the soundtrack to Black History Month all February.
Go on, 35, 905 for radio check. 905 routing.
It is the fastest 3 hours in media, and we are in the middle. We finished 2 hours of one remaining. We have some comments from President Trump as he addressed to the nation shortly before the program began today. We'll review that. And of course, great questions will continue.
Move a citrus plant, and you start playing a dangerous game with the future of America's citrus. A lot could be lost. Lemon trees, orange trees, lime trees, grapefruit trees. Every move comes with a risk. Take a shot, move a citrus plant, and you could be spreading citrus disease. You could be killing countless trees in this deadly game. Florida's orange grove, gone. Every lemon tree in California, gone. Grapefruit, gone forever. Please, don't risk citrus. Don't move citrus, or it's game over for the fruits and flavors you love.
and we all know
Step was under 100. They did recover
citrus disease has already killed millions of citrus trees, and there is no cure. Find out the risks in your area and how you can help protect America's citrus at SaveOurCitrus.org. That's SaveOurCitrus.org.
Mobile for Marshall 4. So you can also use the
1316 KKG.
Okay, I'm going to look at your EEG. So you have a lot of static in my unit count. Over it.
News Radio
1940 is negative. I don't show anybody logged in.
President Trump addressing the nation today following the Florida school massacre.
No parent should ever have to fear for their sons and daughters when they kiss them goodbye in the morning.
The president discussing the victims of one of the nation's most deadly school shootings.
Each one had dreams to pursue, love to give, and talents to share with the world.
See if Patrol 2 can
And each one had a family to whom they meant everything in the world.
17 students and adults were killed in the shooting, more than a dozen others injured, some of them critically. The White House saying President Trump is planning to visit the school. We're learning more about the suspected gunman in the Florida shooting. The leader of a white supremacist group today saying 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz was a member of his organization. Cruz, facing 17 counts of premeditated murder, is scheduled to make his first court appearance within minutes. There are new questions about whether the FBI knew about Cruz before gunfire erupted yesterday at the Parkland, Florida high school.
According to a BuzzFeed News report, YouTube blogger Ben Benite alerted the FBI after someone named Nicholas Cruz commented on one of his videos saying, "I'm going to be a professional school shooter." FBI agent Rob Lasky confirming the agency received the tip last year.
The FBI conducted database reviews, checks, but was unable to further identify the person who actually made the comment.
Benite says FBI agents contacted him again Wednesday after the shooting took place.
Federal investigators say Cruz illegally purchased the AR-15 semi-automatic rifle from a licensed dealer a year ago. Police say Cruz had several magazines of ammunition and pulled a fire alarm at the school to increase the potential number of victims. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
We got a female that's going in from an accident over here at Weber Barn. We need all of her information, and then just give us an update on her status. I had down that way. Alright, she's probably not there yet, but she'll be there in the next couple minutes.
I seem to think that someone who will listen is going to help make it better. I'm realizing that I need help.
I'm listening.
I need help. I'm realizing that I think that having someone who will listen is going to help make it better. Whether or not they've struggled with addiction themselves, people seem to understand. No one can get me to use drugs. My life changed because someone was there to listen.
1 in 7 Americans will struggle with addiction during their lifetime. Want to know how you can help? Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to help turn addiction around. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hearing for the suspected Florida gunman now over. He's being held without bond on 17 counts of premeditated murder. President Trump says Congress should be, in his words, strongly considering a system of merit-based immigration as the Senate works on an immigration plan to protect young dreamers. The president tweeting, the merit-based system would allow the U.S. to have the people ready, willing, and able to help all of those companies moving into the U.S. The Senate gearing up for a vote on a number of immigration proposals, which include protections for those brought into the country illegally as children and funding for border security. Republican Senator Marco Rubio.
Well, to be frank, I'm not sure any of the 4 plans have the votes to pass today. It's a tough issue, but there's 4 out there. I know for certain that I support the president's plan, and all 4 of those pillars are things I have voted for and supported in the past.
The president says any plan to protect so-called dreamers must include border wall funding, elimination of the visa lottery, and an end to family chain migration. Changes coming to McDonald's Happy Meals.
Your kids will love McDonald's Happy Meal. It's food and fun in a box.
The fun comes without a cheeseburger or chocolate milk. In an effort to cut down on calories, sodium, saturated fat, and sugar in Happy Meals, McDonald's has made several changes to its Happy Meals, like cutting the size of fries, adding fruit, and low-sugar apple juice, as the Happy Meal's been long targeted by health advocates who blame it on childhood obesity. McDonald's says diners can still
ask for cheeseburgers or chocolate milk with the kids' meals, but that not listing them will reduce how often they're ordered. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
A Delaware man is facing charges after police say he snapped a selfie with a $4.5 million statue in a Philadelphia museum, then snapped a thumb from the statue. Investigators say 24-year-old Michael Rohana was attending an ugly sweater party at the museum in December when that vandalism occurred. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News Radio.
Some folks will tell you that Washington's broken and can't be fixed. But around here, we know the talk is cheap. To solve problems, we need a congressman who knows how to get things done. That's Beck Broom. Beck's been on the front lines of making a real difference for Texans. He'll stand up against illegal immigration, protect the Second Amendment, private property rights, and our unborn children. And Beck won't back down when it comes to keeping our promises to seniors and veterans. For Congress in District 27, we can trust Beck Broom.
I'm Beck Broom, and I approve this message because I want to be your voice in Washington, D.C.
Paid for by the Beck Broom for Congress campaign.
Hey there, people. This is Mark Maron, and I host the podcast WTF with Mark Maron, which is available on iHeartRadio. Honestly, I think we could all listen to each other a little bit more, and I think it's a healthy thing. I listen to all sorts of people, comedians, actors, musicians, directors, writers, even a president. They come into my garage, and we have a conversation about all the big stuff in life. Go check it out, WTF with Mark Maron, right here.
Rush Limbaugh, 11 to 2 on News Radio 1360 KKTX.
551 Lexington in the Bravo District?
No, in Northside.
Give me the numbers again, then. 6521 in Bravo District.
I remembered something. Shortly after I hung up we've had two really good calls from young-sounding people. It's a good thing. Don't misunderstand. Hang on. And, you know, it reminded me that I vaguely remembered that we've had stories where defensive measures were suggested after a school shooting. And so I've spent some time here trying to research it. Greetings and welcome back. Rush Limbaugh, 800-282-2882 if you want to be on the program. By the way, on Sunday, my annual February appearance is Chris Wallace on Fox News Sunday. And it'll be like the second segment. They usually open up with the news of the day. And then the second segment, the first half hour is me, if this holds true. Sometimes they open with me, but usually it's the second segment. And Chris asks me for essentially a papal dispensation from you. It's only a 12-minute segment. At max, 15. And he wants me to discuss 4 or 5 things. I don't know what they are yet, but... And he sometimes finds it necessary to interrupt you. And when he's done that in the past, he has been deluged with emails and phone calls from some in this audience berating him for having the audacity to stop me from speaking. And he says he must do that in order to keep it going. Because I do have, I could spend 20 minutes answering a single question, depending on the question. I try to be brief in these TV appearances. Because you don't have, I don't have the time to develop an answer and put it in story form to make it typically compelling and interesting and persuasive as I do here. And it's, I practice it, I work on it. But he does, I do not get mad at him for interrupting. I just want you to know that he's doing this to move it along. He's not interrupting me when he thinks I'm on the verge of being brilliant, because that's pretty much the case the whole interview. That's not the issue. I'll remind you of this again. Tomorrow. Telephone number if you want to be with us, 800-282-2882. Now, here is the number. Defending against shooting. I remembered a story we have here and it was a few years ago, that some school was telling its students, and you remember this when I mentioned it, a school, I think it was in Alabama, was telling students to bring in cans of food that they could throw at a shooter if the shooter got into their classroom. Is this ringing a bell with any of you? The school was in Alabama. The story was reported in the New York Daily News back in January 2015. In fact, it was January 13th. Alabama middle school principal tells kids to bring canned goods to class and throw them at possible gunmen. That was the headline in the New York Daily News. And then from the middle of the article, we went back and researched it. We keep everything. We have the most massive transcript archive of everything I've ever said. It's incredible. An Alabama middle school asked students to bring canned goods to school so they can throw them at potential gunmen. The principal, W.F. Burns Middle School in Valley, Alabama, Priscilla Holly, sent a note home to parents asking them to send their students back to class with an 8-ounce can of beans, corn, soup, or any other food. And there was more in the story. Priscilla Holly also said the canned food item could stun the intruder or even knock him out until police arrived. The canned good item will give the students a sense of empowerment to protect themselves and will make them feel secure in case an intruder enters the classroom. This really happened. So you see that there have already been innovative ideas suggested here. I knew I remembered this. It was vague. I didn't mention it because I couldn't specifically remember the place or the date, but it's 3 years ago now. Canned goods. Students were asked to bring to throw them at a potential gunman who might get in the classroom.
More closets.
And I follow up, I don't know.
Outbound sign, is that going to be your zone?
I don't remember anything beyond the original story. That's what we have.
I was trying to read the map to ensure there's a subject that is being...
President Trump talked about the issue. This was around 11:15. We have 3 sound bites. CNN is already ripping President Trump because he did not mention guns at any time in his address to the House. Here's
we are all growing together as one American family, and your suffering is our burden also. No child, no teacher should ever be in danger in an American school. No parent should ever have to fear for their sons and daughters when they kiss them goodbye in the morning. Each person who was stolen from us yesterday had a full life ahead of them, a life filled with wonders, beauty, and unlimited potential and promise. Each one had dreams to pursue, love to give, and talents to share with the world. And each one had a family to whom they meant everything in the world.
Yep, nothing about guns in that bite. Here is the next one.
I want to speak now directly to America's children, especially those who feel lost, alone, confused, or even scared. I want you to know that you are never alone and you never will be. You have people who care about you, who love you, and who will do anything at all to protect you. If you need help, turn to a teacher, a family member, a local police officer, or a faith leader. Answer hate with love. Answer cruelty with kindness.
And here Trump goes to focus on solutions that work and not just to make us feel better.
We are committed to working with state and local leaders to help secure our schools and tackle the difficult issue of mental health. Later this month, I will be meeting with the nation's governors and attorney generals we're making our schools and our children safer will be our top priority. It is not enough to simply take actions that make us feel like we are making a difference. We must actually make that difference.
That's a pretty good comment. Trump's going to go down to the school. He's going to visit the school tomorrow over the weekend, meeting with people there. And CNN's reaction, as I say, was to point out that Trump didn't even talk about guns. He didn't mention guns once, which means what Trump said is good. Because Trump did not advance the leftist agenda with his bully pulpit speech here. So now I turn to a piece from Newsweek. I thought this place had blown up and disbanded. I thought I read the other day where the owner of this place told everybody to find new work because the place is shutting down. And maybe that's pretty true, but this is a piece posted by Chantal de Silva. And the headline, Florida Massacre Survivor tells Trump, I don't want condolences, and then demands a gun control. A survivor of Wednesday's Florida Massacre hit out at President Trump. After Trump offered his prayers and condolences to the families. A student named Sarah wrote the following on Twitter. I don't want your condolences, you effing piece of blank. My friends and teachers were shot. Multiple of my fellow classmates are dead. Don't need anything from you. He called on Trump to, quote, do something and take action on gun control rather than simply offering prayers and words which don't mean anything. A lot of vitriol, a lot of anger, and a lot of another story was on the Brian Williams, PMS NBC, said banning guns just creates a higher demand. It will not prevent school shootings. That was Brandon Minoff, a student at the Hatt School shooting, was interviewed by Brian Williams. Williams asked the kid what he would do about school shooting if he were a lawmaker. He said, gun-wise, I don't think there's any way to prevent it. You outlaw guns, it just creates higher demand for them. So what was your reaction when you heard that it was him? I wasn't surprised. It was unfortunate to hear. More and more people, unsurprised. Guy said he was going to do it. FBI, by the way, admits that they were warned. Audio soundbite number 4. This is in Florida this morning at a press conference about the shooting. FBI Special Agent in Charge Rob Lasky.
In 2017, the FBI received information about a comment made on a YouTube channel. The comment simply said, I'm going to be a professional school shooter. No other information was included with that comment, which would indicate a time, location, or the true identity of the person who made the comment. The FBI conducted database reviews, checks, and was unable to further identify the person who actually made the comment.
So they were unable to identify the person that made the comment. Well, the person that claimed to be making the comment was Nicholas Cruz. The FBI here is saying they looked at all the databases and the checks. They were unable to further identify the person who made the comment. So it might not have actually been Cruz who made the comment. But they're admitting they were warned that somebody said they were going to do this. They just couldn't track down who. It may well be, folks, if you're thinking about committing a crime and you want to evade capture, make sure you have no connection to the Trump dossier. And your odds of getting away with it are vastly enhanced, I would think. Fran Townsend, I'm saying that a bit in jest, but I do, folks, look, they knew and they weren't able to find the guy. They've been looking for 2 years for evidence to corroborate the field dossier. They haven't found anything there. Fran Townsend, she was in the Bush administration, and I think she was a she was a counterterrorism advisor. to George W. Bush. She was on CBS this morning today talking to Gayle King, the BFF of the Oprah. And she had an analogy that she wanted to make.
When we think of Homeland Security, we think of terrorism issues, we think of natural disasters. We don't think of school shootings. And, you know, right now, when you think of this is the 18th school shooting this year. Last year, this time we had 7. Should we rethink Homeland Security? Because it sure feels like terrorism to me. It hurts as badly. It's just as terrible. Do we need to rethink what Homeland Security really means? I think that's exactly right, Gail. I mean, imagine for a moment if the shooter had been a Muslim. We'd be having a different kind. That's exactly right. And how wrong does that feel?
Wait a minute, what? If the shooter had been Muslim, what would be different?
170, it's
we'd be calling it terrorism.
West on the downside
we wouldn't. No, we sure as hell wouldn't. If the shooter was Muslim, we'd all be warned about the backlash.
We have a follow-up call, man. Weber and Barnes.
It would be called terrorism. We'd have the FBI and law enforcement and members of Congress out there admonishing all of us to believe it was not. That's what the shooter was Muslim.
I'll pick it up. Just meet me over there.
Man,
I'm closer to the station.
Prejudice that exists here, even among people at the highest levels. I mean, Fran Townsend was really high-ranking. Homeland Security, counterterrorism. She's no slouch. And yet she throws in this comment, well, imagine if the shooter was a Muslim. Now, in the conversations about terrorism, Gayle King can say, this is terrorism, this is terrorism. Yeah, but imagine if the shooter was Muslim. If the shooter was Muslim, everybody in government would be trying to tell us that we didn't see what we saw, and that it wasn't what we thought it was. That's what would be happening.
Put me on that follow-up call, please.
No, let me take a break. Let me get some decent time on the other side of this break to continue. So be patient, my friends.
Is the news real or is it fake? Rush knows. Stay tuned, and so will you. You're listening to the EIB Network.
When you hear news that matters most, you're listening to 1360 KKTX.
Do you have diabetes? Millions of Americans do. And what they don't know is that even if you have diabetes, you can get up to $500,000 of quality life insurance from top-rated companies with no medical exam at great rates. That's right, no medical exam. Call now, 1-800-254-9567, or visit us online at fastlife.life. It's Fast Life, the revolutionary new way to buy life insurance. It's quick, easy, and fast. And there's no medical exam. Call Fast Life today, 1-800-254-9567, or visit us online at fastlife.life. No matter what your health or wealth, protecting the people you love is important. And for millions of people with diabetes, it's the #1 reason for purchasing life insurance. Call now, 1-800-254-9567, or visit fastlife.life for your free, no-obligation quote. Call Fast Life, 1-800-254-9567, or visit us online at fastlife.life.
Hi, this is Amy Keith, the owner of Fred Jeep Houses. I want to personally thank the Rush Limbaugh listeners for your incredible response on wanting to learn how to invest in real estate. If you, too, are a beginner and want to work one-on-one with a professional investor that will help you find great real estate deals in your area without using your own cash or credit, and then help you turn around and sell them for big profits, then this is the business you've been looking for. If you have at least $10,000 for starting costs, we will help you start your own real estate investing business, provide you with professional training, and provide you with hundreds of motivated sellers in your backyard. If you have at least $10,000 to pay for our assistance, at newlife2018.com. Limited spots are available, so don't wait. If you have at least $10,000 to work with us, go to NEWLIFE2018.com to watch a free webinar. That's NEWLIFE2018.com. NewLife2018.com.
I'm Beck Bryn, and I'm the proud father of...
we also need ID for photos out here.
Checking out the movies this weekend?
Here's your box office preview. New this weekend is Black Panther, the 18th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Following the character's appearance in 2016's Captain America Civil War, he returns home only to have the kingdom threatened by enemy forces.
Nueces. Black Panther then teams up with the CIA and members of an all-female militia to save his home and the lives of those he holds dear. This superhero action film stars Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o, and Martin Freeman. From the creators of the Wallace and Gromit shorts comes the stop-motion animated comedy adventure Early Man. During the Stone Age, a group of early humans face a powerful external threat, and one brave caveman rallies his community to fight back and save themselves and their community. Eddie Redmayne, Tom Hiddleston, Maisie Williams, Timothy Spall, and many more lend their voices. Still in theaters are 50 Shades Freed, Peter Rabbit, The 1517 to Paris, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, and The Greatest Showman. Plus, Maze Runner, The Death Cure, Winchester, The Post, Hostiles, and The Shape of Water. And that's your weekend box office preview on iHeartRadio. And now, the iHeartRadio Weekend Sports Time Capsule.
What's happening, sports fans? It's me, Bald Freak Ronnie, here to take you on a trip back in time to this weekend sports history. Starting in 1937 when the NFL's Boston Redskins moved to Washington, D.C. In 1951, Sugar Ray Robinson defeats Jake LaMotta and takes the middleweight title. And this week in 1978, Leon Spinks defeats Muhammad Ali in 15 rounds for the heavyweight boxing title. In 1997, at age 25, Jeff Gordon becomes the youngest winner in Daytona 500 history. And this week in 2002, at the Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City, a French judge is accused of throwing a skating decision to the Russians. Such a good!
That's your iHeartRadio
They were blocking
Weekend
traffic. They were cursing and complaining. She advised you guys saw them walk into an apartment behind the attorney's office, stone and stone.
Yeah, it's better this way. Have more time after this break rather than the usual 2 minutes or 90 seconds to West Palm Beach, Florida. Jennifer, great to have. Where West Palm Beach are you, Jennifer?
Hi, Russ. I'm very good, thank you. I'm so happy to be talking to you today.
Thank you. Now, where are you? West Palm Beach encompasses a lot of area. Where exactly are you?
Okay, off of Spring Boulevard, near the turnpike.
Oh, yeah. I'm out there somewhat frequently for secret reasons. Yes, indeed. I know exactly where you are.
I think I know one of those reasons. But anyway,
Do not say.
I would never do that. I'm actually calling because I wanted to thank you for what you do. My husband and I have 4 millennials, and I can really say they're all tremendous Bush fans.
Wow.
And yet these days, you know, in the face of the biggest, longest, hate-fueled temper tantrum, you're
Attentional stations, we advise current wind gust is 35 miles per hour.
the correct perspective, the accurate perspective on different issues, and today is a perfect example of that. And I'm glad I get my call through. You shine the light on there, on the local media, on the left politicians, for their parties, their lies, their speech, and that's a really big deal that you're going to do that for us. You know?
I appreciate it. I know what you're saying. You're glad this is a program that doesn't in any way follow predictable conventional wisdom in terms of things we discuss and the way.
Yes.
You see, you got 4 millennials. What's the date?
They are 26 to 19.
And they're all ardent conservative. You've done a bang-up job, you and your husband.
They are, and let me tell you, I was so excited this past election that my kids had the opportunity to take part. You know, the first time I voted, it was the second term of Ronald Reagan. And that was such an exciting time. I was so happy that my kids were in the voting age. Only my youngest didn't get to. He missed it by 3 weeks. But they were in the voting age that they could take part in an exciting time in the country. And
do they all still live here nearby?
My oldest son's in Orlando. He's in the firefighter program there. And
God bless. It's first responder.
But the others are all. Actually, my daughter works on Palm Beach, and she, I think, works for a friend of hers actually. And she has hoped, you know, over the time span that she's worked there, that one day she would run into you while she's out and about. Tremendous fan. And my oldest son, the one in Orlando, is actually on several occasions stated that one of his, his wishes or dreams would be to sit out and smoke a cigar with you.
You never know, but you're so kind, and it warms my heart to know that there are people like you and your kids and your family out there in the audience. It's great affirmation for me, and whatever this is all worth to you, you can count on the fact that your value to me far exceeds it the other way around. Thank you so much, Jennifer. We'll be back.
The 23rd annual Billy Santa for Big Shell Cleanup will be held Saturday, February 24th on the Padre Island National Seashore. Admission to the park is free for volunteers. Join us at the Malachite Pavilion parking lot no later than 8 a.m. Those with four-wheel drive vehicles and trailers are especially needed. If you don't have a 4x4, we'll do our best to get you down the beach with other volunteers. Lunch will be provided, and we'll have commemorative T-shirts for the volunteers while supplies last. For more information, visit friendsatpadre.com.
Fox News Radio, I'm Karen McHugh. Broward County, Florida, mass murder suspect Nicholas Cruz makes his first court appearance.
And further find the proof of guilt to be evident or the presumption free. Therefore, Mr. Cruz, you're going to be held without bond until further order of the court.
Judge Kim Teresa Malika, Cruz is charged with 17 counts of premeditated murder in the worst school shooting this country has seen since Sandy Hook. Meanwhile, the leader of the white nationalist group confirms that Cruz was a member of their organization. There's alarm over the warning signs that were leading up to yesterday's massacre.
The more we are learning about the suspected shooter, the more red flags continue to appear. A number of images on Instagram show the 19-year-old in what local law enforcement officials are saying are very disturbing images, often with multiple guns or knives in the picture, as well as some disturbing commentary as well.
Fox's Steve Harrigan, Fox News. We report, you decide.
W230 in the area.
Hello, Corpus Christi. My name is Chris Mapp. I am your Republican conservative candidate for District 27. One of my platforms to accomplish while I'm your representative is to have all federally elected officials, whether congressmen or senators, to go to the VA for their health care, their aides, their family, and their staff. Are we more important than boots on the ground? Are we in this for self-service or service to country? I'm Chris Mapp, and I approve this message.
Paid for by the Chris Mapp for Congress campaign.
This week in 1950, Disney's Cinderella opens in theaters across the U.S. The film took 6 years to make and was one of the highest-grossing films in 1950. This week in 1959, Fidel Castro is sworn in as Prime Minister of Cuba. The United States initially recognized the new Cuban dictator, but withdrew its support after Castro launched a program of agrarian reform, nationalized U.S. assets on the island, and declared a Marxist government. Castro died November 25th, 2016, at 90 years old. This week in 1972, the Volkswagen Beetle overtakes the Ford Model T as the world's best-selling car as the 15,007,034th Beetle rolled off the assembly line. The Model T was in production from 1908 to 1927. And this week in 1999, President Bill Clinton was acquitted on both charges of impeachment, perjury, and obstruction of justice. On January 7th, 1999, in a congressional procedure not seen since the 1868 impeachment trial of President Johnson, President Clinton got underway in the Senate as instructed in Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution. The Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court, William Rehnquist, at the time, was sworn in to preside, and the senators were sworn in as jurors.
That's your look back at This Week in History.
Now, this week's top TV stream.
Here's what you've been watching on TV this week. Lisa Rinna and the gals have no shortage of issues on the Petty Mess episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It's at number 5. Next at number 4 is Gladiators and Suits in the latest episode of Scandal. RuPaul's Drag Race is in its 3rd season, and their latest is your 3rd most streamed episode. At number 2, they're recounting the assassination of Gianni Versace in American Crime Story. And finally, ABC's medical drama Grey's Anatomy is your number 1 TV stream this week.
That's this week's top TV streams.
At Brian Lunch Call on News Radio 1360 KKTX.
Hi, welcome back. It's great to have you here. Now, earlier in the program, I made an observation very, very early in the program. I suggested to you, well, I didn't suggest anything, I proclaimed that the drive-by media was very frustrated today in one sense. I mean, they love a gun control story. But this today is getting in the way of something they really, really care about and they're frustrated by it. And I got some email from people who thought that I was being very, I was taking an unnecessary risk and sounding very insensitive, and I was not doing anything of the sort. I was telling you the way it is. I said that drive-bys are frustrated that this story has taken the Rob Porter story off the front page and out of the news. They are frustrated. The White House has canceled the daily briefing both yesterday and today. And in a story where they express the frustration they're mad because they're not going to be able to ask any questions about the Rob Porter story. Because they are convinced that the Rob Porter story is how they're going to get rid of Trump by reviving all of this sexual harassment stuff that he has seemingly escaped so far. And despite the fact that many people thought I was taking a risk by even predicting this, it was no risk, it was the truth. Now I have evidence. Now I have evidence. On CNN.
His respirations are twice what
113.
113 is en route. I'll show Breaking is working off EMS 1.
Causing them to drop coverage of the Florida shooting. And do what? Listen.
We are also following other breaking news, this time out of Washington. CNN has learned that Rob Porter told one of his ex-wives in September that he was informed that his security clearance check was delayed, partly due to concerns that he was violent. CNN's national politics reporter MJ Lee joins me now with more. So explain exactly what we know, because this raises new questions about what the White House knew and when.
That's right, Anderson. Rob Porter's second ex-wife, Jenny Willoughby, tells CNN that Porter called her in September and told her that he was informed that his security clearance was delayed and that one of the reasons was because of concerns that he had been violent.
That was breaking news. That took CNN away from a gun control opportunity. That took CNN away from wall-to-wall coverage on the Florida shooting at the high school. The fact that Porter's wife said that Porter told her in September that his security clearance is being held up because there were concerns he had been violent. And as you heard Cooper say, the reason why this matters is because this gets to the timeline. This gets exactly to when Trump knew what he knew, what the White House knew, and when they're going to try to get Trump for lying, the White House for lying, that they knew all along this guy was a bad actor, sexual abuser, and they try to cover it up, or worse, they didn't care because they don't care about women. They don't care, but women are just objects. Women are just there to take up space. So this is the picture they're trying to paint. So there you have it. Breaking news. Do not doubt me when I tell you what these people are about, what inspires them, what motivates them, and what their objectives are. Do not ever doubt me. The Rob Porter story, it's just the latest that's got them all hyped up, thinking this is it. This is the story where they either individually or collectively are going to get rid of Donald Trump. Here is, let's see, here's another example of something I said. Chris Murphy, this was yesterday afternoon. This is while the story is unfolding on TV. It says Chris Murphy, Democrat, Connecticut, ran to the Senate floor to blame Republicans while the shooting was taking place.
This happens nowhere else other than the United States of America. This epidemic of mass slaughter, this scourge of school shooting after school shooting. It only happens here not because of coincidence, not because of bad luck, but as a consequence of our inaction. We are responsible for a level of mass atrocity that happens in this country with zero parallel anywhere else. As a parent, it scares me to death that this body doesn't take seriously the safety of my children. And it seems like a lot of parents in South Florida are going to be asking that same question later today.
You see, folks, nobody cares about your children. You're not capable of protecting your children, so senators have to do it. The government has to, because just like the school lunch program, your kids were going to be starved. The Republicans were actually going to starve your kids because you as parents didn't have the awareness, intelligence, ability to take your kid or to give your kid lunch to take to school. You didn't have that capability. If it weren't for the federal government, your kid wouldn't eat. And if it weren't for the federal government, your kid is not safe. You can't do it. And then this is CNN legal analyst, not legal, CNN counterterrorism analyst, Philip Mudd. This is also yesterday afternoon while this is happening.
I have 10 nieces and nephews. We're talking about bump stocks. We're talking about legislation. A child of God is dead. Cannot we acknowledge in this country that we cannot accept this? I can't do it, Wolf. I'm sorry. We can't do it.
Yeah.
Oops.
All right, we're going to get back to you, but you're obviously, this is so emotional. Unfortunately, it happens all too often, and as a result, people say we got to learn some lessons. Unfortunately, lessons are never learned.
Yeah, primarily by people like you, Wolf, because you keep just looping the same reaction to this. That is never, it's not a viable solution. It isn't going to matter, hill of beans. We had a great caller earlier. So you could, if you even could do it, we'll just play the hypothetical game. You starting today, you prevent anybody from getting a gun this day forward. The odds are the next mass shooter already has the gun that he's going to use. And even if he doesn't, he'll find a way to get one, because that's what criminals do. In other words, this guy, Nicholas Cruz, if he didn't have a gun, I can guarantee you what he would not do. He would not say, I was going to shoot the school up today, but now I'm not, because I don't have a gun. He'd find a way to get one. Pure and simple. No matter what gun control laws you've got. Anyway, Phil Mudd was able to regain his composure after the soft and compassionate condolences and treatment he got from Wolf Blitzer. And so a few minutes later, after having pulled himself together, he reappeared on CNN to essentially rip his country apart.
In math and sciences, if you look at countries around the world, our kids are not educated, and yet we say we're exceptional. If you look at health statistics, whether a kid is going to be healthy, infant mortality, we are mediocre. Life expectancy, we are mediocre, but we can't compare ourselves to other countries because we say we're exceptional. The reason I raise that is that in this case, we're going to say we're an exceptional country. If you look at other peer countries in places like Japan or Western Europe, they do not have the incidence of violence against children that we have in this country.
And that is simply an uncorroborated statement. Simply is uncorroborated, particularly to start comparing the United States to thug dictatorships. Anyway, just to illustrate, this is all happening while the event was unfolding yesterday. So it's a combination of Republicans not caring and the country at large sucking. Now this morning, Fredo Cuomo, who I just learned is a gym rat. Did you know that? Did you know Fredo is a gym rat? It kind of makes sense. When he's not on CNN, he's in a gym doing head exercises. And he spoke out. He was angry. Fredo Cuomo on CNN today was livid about the Republican reaction to the shooting.
The Republicans hide in these situations. Marco Rubio said some things that sound right politically, but they're wrong. This isn't an inexplicable tragedy. Your prayer for victims, what kind of prayer suggests that you will do nothing? But where is he this morning? He's on Fox. Where's Governor Scott this morning? They're on Fox. They're in the mothership. They think it's a safe haven. They're hiding. Don't let them hide.
He did. He sounded like Mario the Pious there. That's right. I think they're probably Mario the Pious tapes. They can all Cuomo kids listen to. Anyway, Fredo says Republicans are in hiding. They go on Fox. Come out and face the world, Fredo demands. Come and appear on CNN, where we've got... I saw the number. CNN has about 600,000 viewers when Fredo is on, and Fox has got about 3.5 million. So, if anybody's hiding and is invisible, it's Fredo and his whole network.
America's Anchorman, Rush, on the EIB Network. Largo in the morning. This is News Radio 1360 KKTX.
My good friends, let me introduce you to LegacyBox.com. This is the new way to digitize all of your old home movies and photos. Here's the problem. You got old photos, film, VHS tapes. You have no idea how to preserve them and the memories they hold. Well, stop letting your precious memories get lost or thrown out or forgotten just because they're deteriorating in an outdated format. LegacyBox.com is a service that takes care of everything. You get a specially made Legacy box. It's an actual box designed for you to put your old tapes and pictures and audio recordings in, and you send it back. They get your Legacy box in a couple of weeks. You get your originals back and a perfectly preserved digital copy either on DVD or a thumb drive. And you'll get a 40% discount when you go to LegacyBox.com/rush. Get 40% off your order at LegacyBox.com/rush.
Your brain is an amazing thing, but as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. In clinical trials, Prevagen has been shown to improve short-term memory. Prevagen, the name to remember. Now available in stores everywhere. Statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hi, I'm Kyle Cox, owner of Blindster.com. BlindsTER.com. When you need custom blinds, don't pay a high-priced professional. Let us show you how easy it is to measure and install our custom blinds, shades, and shutters. You have nothing to fear because we guarantee a perfect fit or we'll replace the blinds free of charge. You only pay for shipping.
Rush listeners get 50% off during our President's Day sale. Enter the code RUSH at checkout. BlindsTER.com.
This is Beck Brune, and I'll stand for America. I put my hand over my heart when I see our flag. And when it comes to the Star-Spangled Banner, my hat is off and I'm on my feet. I'm Beck Brune, and I approve this message because you won't catch me taking a knee unless it's to pray for our country.
Political ad paid for by the Beck Brune for Congress, District 27 campaign.
Hi, it's Joe Pags. Coming up, we're finding out more about the disgusting human being that committed those murders yesterday in South Florida. The president has spoken out about it, and the unreasonable left is trying to take advantage of it, and more on the Joe Pags Show.
If you knew you were going to get diabetes, would you do something now to slow it down? Your answer is probably yes. That's why it's important to find out if you have prediabetes, a condition that raises your risk of developing type 2 diabetes, heart disease, stroke, and eye disease. By losing weight, eating healthy, and being physically active, you can prevent or delay diabetes. Prediabetes means your blood sugar levels are higher than normal, but not high enough to be called diabetes. In fact, you may have prediabetes and not even know it. Ask your doctor to check you for prediabetes, especially if you're age 45 or older and are overweight. If you're under age 45 and overweight, you want to be checked if you have other risk factors, such as having a parent or sibling who has diabetes, high blood pressure, or if you are African American or Hispanic. For a free copy of your game plan to prevent type 2 diabetes, contact the National Diabetes Education Program at 1-888-693-6337 or visit TexasDiabetesCouncil.org.
I've always wanted a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor?
Hi, neighbor. Mr. Rogers passed along friendship in his neighborhood, hoping we would do the same. So let's get started. Friendship. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com.
News never stops. Stay up to date all day long with 1360kkTX.com.
Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news, EIV, breaking news. The public defender for the perp, Nicholas Cruz, the public defender, says that he is sad, that he is remorseful, and that he regrets deeply his actions. And then, more breaking news, the public defender said that he has been mentally ill his entire life, that he recognizes the loss to the community, that he just feels sick about it, and that he has been placed on suicide watch. That's the breaking news from the public defender for the perp here, the alleged shooter, Nicholas Cruz. Hey, folks, we have a lot of LifeLock members in this audience, and a woman by the name of Sharon is one of them. LifeLock is the identity theft protection company that we talk about here. For those of you that are newer members of the audience, LifeLock is the single greatest thing you can do to protect your identity and your credit card sovereignty, if you will. Now, years ago, Sharon heard me encouraging people to sign up for LifeLock to protect themselves for the day that their identity is stolen by some computer hacker. But she assumed that she'd never be a victim. She rolled the dice. This is not going to happen to me. And she didn't sign up. And that's the reason she didn't. It wasn't anything else. She just didn't think she would ever need identity theft protection. She was playing the odds. It was kind of like, that only happens to other people. Doesn't happen to me. And even though it's a lot of people, statistically, it's a small percentage, and so I'm going to roll a dice. It ain't going to happen to me. And then one day, as you might be able to predict here, Sharon learned that identity thieves had indeed rented an apartment and opened up 2 credit cards in her name. And she didn't have any idea it had happened until the credit card company called her looking for an overdue payment. Thieves actually rented an apartment and started up 2 new credit cards in her name, and she had no clue until the credit card company was about to zap her account, which she didn't know she had. When she tried to explain to the credit card company it wasn't her, they didn't believe her. I've told you, if you get victimized by identity theft, even people you know cannot trust that it's you. It's when computers get involved here, that's what's followed. And so she got really frustrated. They didn't believe her. They didn't believe her story. They thought she was the perp. Now, at the time, she did not have LifeLock. She had no alert from them. She didn't learn about any of this beforehand, which she would have known. If she'd have been a LifeLock member and somebody had opened up, started credit cards in her name, and rented an apartment, she would have gotten an alert. That would have been detected. No alert that her information was contained on a couple of credit card applications. Nope, but they would have told her if she were a member. If they had her numbers on file, then all of this would have been identified shortly after it happened. It took Sharon 3 months and a whole lot of phone calls to restore her good name. And then she signed up for LifeLock. Now, that was 5 years ago. And she is still a LifeLock member today. And the peace of mind that comes with it, even though it's after the fact, is good enough for her. She doesn't want to go through this ever again. If somebody steals her identity again, she's going to have the help of LifeLock's restoration team to help immediately. Now, no one can prevent all identity theft. Nobody can monitor all transactions in all businesses. But, folks, there's nobody in LifeLock's league. Nobody is even close to the job they do at identity theft protection. Go to lifelock.com or call them at 800-440-4833. Don't wait till it's too late. Don't wait like Sharon did. Use my name as the promo code, and that'll save you 10% off your LifeLock membership. Either lifelock.com or 800-440-4833.
Rush. Winning minds. Winning hearts. On the EIB network.
This is News Radio 1360 KKTX.
Hiring is important. People are what make your business work. But how do you find the right talent? ZipRecruiter makes it simple. One click sends your job ad to over 100 of the web's leading job boards. But ZipRecruiter doesn't stop there. Their smart matching technology will instantly alert quality candidates about your job. That means you'll start getting great candidates with the right experience almost as soon as your job is posted. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. The right candidates are out there. This is how you find them. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
People from businesses of all sizes trust ZipRecruiter for their hiring needs. We're so confident ZipRecruiter will get you better results than anywhere else. We'll let you try it free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is Beck Brune, and I'll stand for America. I put my hand over my heart when I see our flag. And when it comes to the Star-Spangled Banner, my hat is off and I'm on my feet. I'm Beck Brune, and I approve this message because you won't catch me taking a knee unless it's to pray for our country.
Political ad paid for by the Beck Brune for Congress, District 27 campaign.
The American Legion. We're a powerful force for the nation. We're the largest veteran service organization in America with nearly 2.5 million members. And when you add to that the American Legion Auxiliary and the Sons of the American Legion, we have a family of 4 million members working hard every day for our veterans, our youth, and our communities. You can find us in every state in the nation, working to support our men and women in uniform and their families. We offer many youth programs and scholarships to help our next generation of leaders learn the values and skills needed to succeed. And through our grants and foundations, we offer assistance to fellow veterans and their families in times of need. We raise millions of dollars and donate thousands of hours of time to causes all across the nation. We truly are a powerful force. Go to Legion.org to find out more about the American Legion's commitment of service to America.
And now, the iHeartRadio Weekend Sports Time Capsule.
Hello there, sports fans. It's me, Bald Freak Ronnie, here to take you on a trip back in time to this week in sports history. Starting in 1952, when Rocky Marciano defeats Lisa Vold for his 39th consecutive win. In 1976, American Dorothy Hamill wins Olympic figure skating gold in Innsbruck, Austria. In 1985, the NHL's New Jersey Devils score their fastest hat trick ever. It took 42 seconds. This week in 1990, Larry Bird of the Boston Celtics misses a free throw, ending his NBA streak of 71 consecutive games without missing one. And this week in 2001, Dale Earnhardt Sr. dies from injuries sustained in an accident at the Daytona 500.
That's your iHeartRadio Weekend Sports Time Capsule.
This is guy line 3 ready to go. Paul in Louisville. I wanted to get you on here. We had time. How you doing, sir?
Hi, Russ.
Take it away.
I believe that if we want to reduce violence in our society, we're going to have to start teaching morality again.
Yeah.
And it starts in our homes, our parents. But it shouldn't stop there. It should be in our schools, too.
You know the problem with this? You know what the problem with this is, Paul?
What's that?
You're not allowed to define it anymore. The American left Democrat Party will not allow you to define morality, particularly if it infringes on their good time. And if it involves you judging them, ain't going to happen. Not only are you not going to judge them, you're going to support whatever they want to do, and you're going to love them doing it, no matter how much it violates your morality. But I agree with you in principle. It's the one thing missing. Something else I'm wondering. Why isn't the left offering to use their favorite weapon in things like this is diplomacy? Why aren't we talking? We talk to Kim Jong-un, and we make a heroine out of his sister. Where's the diplomacy? Where are the diplomats?
I want to tell you about a time in American history so it never repeats itself.
It was a harrowing time.
A heart-wrenching time. I could hear my mother warn me, don't go out and play.
My family was ravaged. Thousands and thousands died. I was scared.
So scared. And then one day.
And then one day, there was hope.
Before vaccines, there were few ways to help protect against deadly illnesses. Diseases like measles,
Meningitis,
diphtheria, Hib, whooping cough, or polio. Without vaccines, these threats can reemerge.
I'm here to tell my children to help protect their children.
Get your kids vaccinated and keep them on schedule.
I never want my grandchildren to see what I saw.
A public health message from the American Academy of Pediatrics, with support provided by Sanofi Pasteur. Visit protecttomorrow.org.
Remember, vaccinate.
Hawaiian shirt or jacket? Check the weather before you leave at 1360kkgx.com.
The accused Florida school shooter goes to court. I'm Roger Stern, Fox News. 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz has just made his first appearance in court. He was charged with 17 counts of premeditated murder in yesterday's horrific high school shooting in Parkland, Florida. Fox's Evan Brown in Florida live with the latest.
Yeah, Roger, not even the accused shooter's public defenders could make an argument when it came to keeping Nicholas Cruz locked up. And so the judge ruled.
And I find probable cause. I further find the proof of guilt to be evident or the presumption great. Therefore, Mr. Cruz, you're going to be held without bond until further order of the court.
Cruz appeared in restraints in his jail uniform, not speaking much except to acknowledge his right to remain silent. Still unknown is the suspect's motivation, though law enforcement is expected to reveal more of what they've learned sometime this afternoon, Roger.
Fox's Evan Brown, thank you. The Commander-in-Chief became the Consoler-in-Chief today. President Trump addressing the nation at the White House, offering his sympathies for victims of yesterday's shooting and their families.
We are all joined together as one American family, and your suffering is our burden also.
The president says he will work with local officials to make schools safer, but did not talk about restricting the sale of firearms. He will travel to Florida to visit families of the victims. Meanwhile, Florida's Democratic U.S. Senator Bill Nelson wants the government to ban assault-style weapons like the one used yesterday.
An AR-15 is not for hunting, it's for killing. And the question is, should this be a legal weapon in our society?
Gun rights advocates say banning these weapons is pointless because of all the other firearms that are out there. Also today, a white supremacist group says the shooter was part of their group. Fox News, fair and balanced.
This is the sound of a brand new outdoor grill being hurled off a 20-story building. Now a stylish glass coffee table. An electric guitar. These are the things you could enjoy, all cast into oblivion. Because when you throw away money on wasted electricity, you throw away everything you could have bought with it. Visit EnergySavers.gov and get tips on how to save energy and money. Then do things like switch to Energy Star light bulbs or Energy Star appliances, and you could save hundreds of dollars a year. So this doesn't happen to the recliner you've had your eye on, or this to the treadmill on your wish list, or this to the shiny new bike your kid's been asking for. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
The Senate beginning votes on several immigration reform plans, including different ways to protect almost 2 million so-called dreamers. Fox's Jared Halpern live on Capitol Hill.
Republican Senator Susan Collins says there's only one plan with broad bipartisan support, an amendment that would boost border funding by $25 billion and provide a path to citizenship for immigrants living in the U.S. illegally since childhood.
A good faith effort, a bipartisan effort to address some pressing, urgent issues.
But Arkansas Republican Tom Cotton says
House of Representatives is not going to pass this bill. They probably won't even take it up.
The White House has issued a veto threat, preferring instead a Republican measure, also up for a vote this afternoon, that closely mirrors the 4 pillars of immigration reform laid out by President Trump. Roger.
Fox's Jared Halpern, thank you. Russia is acknowledging the deaths of 5 nationals in a U.S. military strike in Syria last week. It's the first time Russians have died in a U.S. attack. Amazon's going to pay $1.2 million in penalties to settle a lawsuit from the EPA which says Amazon sold illegal pesticides. The EPA says Amazon will closely monitor the kinds of bug killers it sells in the future. Well, we've all heard about the measles and how it's making a comeback here in the U.S., but the number of cases in our country is nothing compared with what they're seeing in Europe.
The European Center for Disease Prevention and Control says there were over 14,000 cases of measles across the continent last year. Romania hit the worst with about 10,000 cases. The vast majority of people who got the disease were not vaccinated. Compare that to the American numbers, with the CDC saying just 120 people in the U.S. came down with measles in the same time frame. Jill Nato, Fox News.
1 hour to go in today's trading, and stocks are on target to post their 5th straight day of gains. I'm Roger Stern, Fox News Radio.
Hi, this is Jim Lago, the Island Time Edition.
Do you have property damage to your home, auto, or business from Harvey? Enroll in the Harvey Federal Tax Refund Program now and get cash for flood recovery. Tax expert Pat O'Connor says if your property flooded and you paid income taxes in 2016, you almost certainly qualify for the Harvey Tax Refund. Don't wait. Call now. 833-AID-4-HARVEY. That's 833-AID-4-HARVEY. Or online at aid4harvey.com. That's aid4harvey.com.
For America's wounded warriors, sometimes coming home can be a battle in itself. Every one of them needs our support to meet the challenges they face every day. The USO provides Americans a way to offer that support to our wounded warriors and their families. Join us. Visit USO.org to learn how you can make a difference in their lives. The USO.
Kennedy is on. News Radio 1360 KKTX.
This is how we roll. We light it up with our hands up. This is how we roll.
In these moments of heartache and darkness, we hold on to God's word in Scripture. I have heard your prayer and seen your tears. I will heal you. We trust in that promise, and we hold fast to our fellow Americans in their time of sorrow.
Holding them accountable. Sean gets the answers no one else does. Freedom is back in style. Welcome to the revolution.
This is how we roll.
New Sean Hannity Show. More behind-the-scenes information on breaking news and more bold, inspired solutions for America.
All right, glad you're with us. Write down our toll-free telephone number if you want to be a part of this extravaganza, 800-941-SEAN, if you want to be a part of the program. You know, one thing always stands out in the midst of tragedy, horror, death, terrorism, whatever it happens to be, the school shooting, the evil on display. It just is, you see and always see another side of the human experience and the human soul, and it was captured with this football coach. And here you have a guy, reportedly one of the most liked guys. He was literally shielding students yesterday during this massacre at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. His name is Aaron Feast is his name. Once a security guard at the school, apparently went to the school himself. And this guy gives his life protecting these kids that he loved under the most unbelievable circumstances. And everybody apparently loved this guy. And, you know, it's so sad and it's so tragic. And, you know, we've gotten a lot of information in just the last 24 hours since we got off the air. Literally, we were on the air yesterday, and it was reported up until we ended the show about 58 minutes after the hour, 57 minutes after the hour, that only 2 people had died. We were off the air 4 minutes, and it was 17 deaths in this shooting yesterday. It is now the 3rd largest shooting, worst U.S. school shootings ever. And I know that, you know, when we get this information, everybody was saying on TV last night and today that I've watched, if you see something, you got to say something. Well, I want to play for you an interview of a guy that saw something, and it was online, and it was on YouTube, and it was from this guy, Nicholas Cruz, and he's saying, I'm going to be a professional school shooter, and he actually said something, and he said it to the FBI, and the FBI followed up the next day, and then we see all his social media fingerprints, and all we see on those social media fingerprints is what? You know, we see this guy is the guy. More than a number of these kids has said, quote, the headline in the New York Post today is, gun-crazed Florida teen joked that he'd shoot up the school. But more importantly, it's not a joke. Everybody was saying, this is the guy. He's thrown out of school, and for disciplinary issues, he's sent to another school, which that never makes sense to me. Oh, we'll throw you out of this school, but we'll keep you in the district, and we'll send you to another school. That never made sense either. And this stuff happens, and, you know, I'm going to play this for you, and it's not see something, say something, because people saw it and said it. And he posted it. And more often than not, be it a shooting like this or a terrorism event, we're finding that these people are telegraphing what is in their sick, ugly, twisted, evil minds. And we're not capturing it soon enough. Anyway, here is the guy that had picked up this comment on YouTube.
September 24th, 2017, I sent a screenshot of a comment on one of my videos. Now, people keep asking me which video was it, but I don't know. I don't remember what video it was. When I saw the comment come through on my studio app on my iPhone, I screenshotted the comment, I hit the report button, reported it to YouTube. Of course, they removed the comment, and then I tried to email it to the FBI. I found an email address, tips@fbi.gov, sent it to that email address. I immediately got back a domain error. Basically, that email address didn't exist. So I looked up the number for our local field office, and I called and I left a message. Well, the next day, I had 2 FBI agents standing in my office, taking down the information, taking copies of the screenshot, and asking me questions that, of course, I couldn't answer. You know, all it was in my channel was a comment. You know, people leave pretty heinous comments on a pretty regular basis on this channel, and I really didn't think anything of it. But what I did think was, you know, this comment said, I'm going to be a professional school shooter, and I knew that I couldn't just ignore that.
The red flags were all over the place here in this particular case. You know, here you have a kid. He lost his mother apparently 3 months earlier. He was living with some family. I don't know why the family allowed this kid, who's obviously troubled, to go out and buy the AR-15. But this is not a gun debate. And I'll explain why in a second. He's expelled from school. He has all of the social imprint of somebody that would do something like this. And nobody, after he's expelled, did anybody follow up? Was he offered at any point any help from anybody that knew that this guy, you know, had these obvious problems? Every kid that I saw interviewed, for the most part, that knew this kid said nobody's surprised that he would do something like this. Then you have what this guy's explaining here. The FBI is notified, and that he's saying, well, I'm going to be a professional school shooter. He was involved in apparently incidents of animal cruelty, and yeah, that's always a bad indicator. You know, any kid that's hurting an animal, at some point there's something wrong. At any point there's something wrong there. But I want to be a professional school shooter. We had the red flags that we all say we want. And this guy, this was premeditated, this was planned, this was orchestrated, this was just, he wanted and planned for a massacre, and that's what he got yesterday. Now, I'll tell you what I'm not going to do, and I talked a little bit about this yesterday. I'm not interested, if you want to call the show today, in any predictable talking points about guns. I have a 5-minute montage I can play, and just snippets, one right after the other. And we'll get to probably some of it later in the program today, of within hours. We don't even know what actually happened. and people go out with their talking points, and literally, this is the tragic. Let's go right back to the same old arguments we have heard time after time after time. Now the attack is against, AR-15s. Well, if you want to know what the the worst school shooting was, if you remember, this was at Virginia Tech in 2007. And I covered that shooting. And you had a loner who suffered from mental health problems, and he shot a student and a resident assistant in a dormitory, and then he headed into a classroom building where he chained and locked several doors, and then he opened fire with handguns. So those people that are going to make the argument in that particular case, 32 people were killed with handguns. So, if the argument is we're going to get rid of AR-15s, all right, then the next shooting, is that going to be with handguns? We're going to get rid of all handguns. And at the end, there are people, I think, in this country that don't believe in the Second Amendment. Here's the bottom line, though. In my 30 years of doing radio and my 23 years on TV now, I can tell you, I don't think anybody's mind is going to be changed on the issue. So the idea that something happens again and we go back to the same predictable talking points, to me, is a waste of time. If we really, really, really care about security at our schools, as the president said yesterday, no kid should have to worry going into a school. Every kid in every school, in every town, in every city in this country should feel free and safe. There's a way to do it. And it doesn't involve a discussion about the Second Amendment at all. And here's my solution. And feel free to weigh in on it if you think it's got flaws, or you can add to it, or you got a better solution. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't want this to happen again. I mean, we can go to the Virginia Tech. We had 32 people killed there. You had Adam Lanza. He shot his mother to death in her bed driving a Sandy Hook. Remember that in Newtown, Connecticut? That particular case, gunned down 20 children in addition to 6 staff members. That was in 2012. This doesn't just happen. It happened in Clinton's administration, Columbine, George W. Bush's. It happened in Barack Obama's, and now in Donald Trump's. It's not about politics, and you get the same old debates. I think it's pretty simple. Every school now in the country should have a comprehensive security threat assessment by professionals. Now you're saying, well, where are we going to get the money for that? Probably the local police would be more than glad to, and they're already getting paid, to go to the local school district, spend the time, make the proper threat assessment, and come up with a comprehensive plan on how to keep the kids in the schools safe. Now, I guess the most controversial part of my solution is going to be this. Every school is going to have to hire enough retired, former, trained military, retired, former, trained police officers, and you're going to have to secure the perimeter. You're going to have every entry point secured. You're going to have to make sure that every kid that gets in that building belongs in that building. I can tell you what it's like in New York City post 9/11. The building that I am broadcasting from, I can't get in without an ID that has my picture on it. And similarly, if somebody's coming up, they're going to be a guest on the program. Same thing with Fox. You can't get in the building. There is security literally everywhere. Well, if we really want to secure our schools, there's nobody that's going to be able to convince me that that is mission impossible or a task we cannot accomplish, because we're too smart. We've been able to do it. If you've got, 100-story buildings in New York that you can secure, and similarly, and in some cases, maybe that's going to include metal detectors. But the bottom line is this: it is something that could be accomplished without going to the same old, tired, predictable talking points that each side is going to have. Because in the 30 years I've been doing this, I'm pretty convinced that I have carried a weapon my entire adult life. I've been trained in the use of a firearm since I am 11. I've been a marksman since I'm 12, in terms of pistol marksman. I have carried in New York, Rhode Island, California, Alabama, and Georgia. I've had carry permits. I was adding up the years I have carried more than half my life a firearm. And I believe in the safety, security, responsibility in being a gun owner with a concealed carry permit. And I'd say I don't think everybody has to be trained. Yeah, you know, I don't think teachers want to teach. They don't want to be. If they do want to, that's great. Another person on the front lines. Now, can it prevent every school shooting? Probably it's not. There's no such thing as perfect security, but I think it could stop a lot of it, number one. And then you have people there on the ground that can minimize the ability to hurt, injure, and kill other people. And that's called a solution to a problem. Rather than, you know, the same points that people make after every shooting and then nothing happens. If the idea is we don't want to see what we witnessed yesterday, 17 dead kids, 14 or so others injured, families devastated, broken. I mean, the worst thing you can imagine. Do we want... arguing the same points that has gotten us nowhere isn't going to do a thing. If you can secure any one building, then you should secure every building. A complete, thorough, comprehensive security threat assessment at every school, and then the manpower in place. I know there was an armed guard. Okay, but this school had multiple buildings and 3,200 kids. We needed more people. And that would, to me, be the best. That's the best idea that I can think of. You have a better one, 800-941-SEAN. Hey, listen, speaking of some security system, you need a home security system. This is a very evil, dangerous world with sick, twisted, ugly people in it. I love Simply Safe Home Security. When they first started on the program, they only had 10 employees. It's transformed now into the fastest growing home security system in the country, now protecting over 2 million people. Well, they just released their brand new home security system. It's called the all-new Simply Safe. Now the system's been completely rebuilt, redesigned, and they've added new safeguards protecting against power outages, down Wi-Fi, cut landlines, bats, hammers, everything in between. Now remember, this is the best, latest technology, so it's wireless, but it's been redesigned to be practically invisible. And what's remarkable about this, they've spent years building this system, but you get it for the same honest price they've always had, 24/7 protection, $15 a month, no installation, no contract to sign. It's simple, faster, and stronger than anything they do. So protect your family's home as well. SimplySafeHannity.com is where you order. SimplySafeHannity.com. There's a lot of evil in this world. We saw it yesterday. Quick break. Right back. We'll continue.
Now that Uncle Joe has left the building, maybe we can get back to bringing jobs home. That's jobs, J-O-B-S. This is the Sean Hannity Show.
Lago in the morning, and your station for Fox News Radio, 1360 KKTX.